Top 10 Quick Comic Picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are coming out this week, coming out on Wednesday, so you have a better idea of what to expect when you go into your local comic book store or you shop with us over at infinityflux.net. It's over there.
Yep.
Uh, or you shop in store, you know kind of what you are in for. And we've got a huge week. This is
Yeah.
one of the biggest weeks in a while. I feel like we say that on occasion, but it is compared
It's-
to the previous time we said that. It
Yeah,
is even
right,
bigger.
right.
So let's get into this week's worth of books.
Holy cow. Justice League Unlimited #1. This one is huge and it's awesome. This is a lot like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon from the early 2000s, where you have every hero on the Watchtower and different heroes go out on different missions. In this one, there is a group that goes out to South Africa to stop an attack by a new terrorist organization named Inferno. While that's going on, Batman and Blue Beetle investigate something in Costa Rica that we're going to learn more about next issue. And plus, we just get our best look yet at the Watchtower, at how the Justice League works, how heroes are assigned to missions, and all that stuff. We're going to talk more about this in our longer video coming up in a little bit, so be sure to watch that because there's a lot to say about it. But this is awesome. Mark Waid, Dan Mora, they can do no wrong. This is fantastic.
Plus the backup, which is the
Hush 2.
Hush 2 lead-in story.
Right.
So don't miss that. First up for me, I've got Absolute Wonder Woman #2. So this one's great. I liked it even better than issue #1. In this one, Wonder Woman is still fighting this giant creature that's come out of the ocean. Only to learn that this is actually kind of a herald of something bigger and scarier coming. Also, in this issue, you get your introduction to the Absolute Universe's version of Steve Trevor and that whole origin story of him washing up on the beaches and all that. But this time, he washes up on the beaches of hell. How does that change everything? You'll find out in this issue, but this issue gives me very like Lovecraft vibes, everything. Plus, just more is explored about this new version of Wonder Woman. So don't miss Absolute Wonder Woman #2.
Well, next I've got Superman and Dan Mora on the brain because I'm going to talk about Superman #20. And in this issue, we get a little bit more of the time trapper, an interesting conversation between him and Superman. And then after that, the rest of the issue pretty much is a giant fight between Superman and Doomsday. It's like an anime level fight. It's awesome. Superman does something really cool to drum up enough power to take him down. There's more than one shocking moment in this, and it's just all building to even bigger things to come. So this is an amazing book. If you just want a fun, action-packed book, this is the one to get.
Next up, I have West Coast Avengers #1. This is a new ongoing series. Now Tony Stark has, it kind of jumps right into the middle of it. Tony Stark has formed this new version of the West Coast Avengers. But with a twist, there's some villains on the team that are trying to be rehabilitated, and that includes Ultron. Now the world and the press and everything not super happy about Ultron being on the team, but Tony acts like he's got it under control. But does he really? You'll have to see. Plus, you see like how Tony gets the Silver Centurion armor, all of that once again. And there's a big like what the storyline's going to be that you find out at the end, but I don't even want to hint at it because it'll give away too much of the story. But a fun first issue of West Coast Avengers.
Well, next we have Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #1. This is a follow up to last year's Batman Santa Claus Silent Night. This is going to be, I think, a 5-issue series, but it's weekly. So every week until Christmas, we are going to have one new issue of this. And in this one, the Justice League travels to Egypt to take on this big monster that kind of looks like an empty suit of armor, but it pulls all of them into this other realm except for Damian. And now Damien has to go get help from Zatanna to try to retrieve them, get them back. And Santa Claus shows up to help them as well. It's really cool. Santa Claus has such a cool design. There's a Dark Knight Returns homage in there. Like everything about it's just really fun. This is another cool holiday book.
Next up for me, I have Black Canary Best of the Best. This is a new maxi series. I believe it's 12 issues long from Tom King and Ryan Sook. This is awesome. So this is not necessarily in your main continuity, but a very familiar Justice League and everything. But in this, there's Black Canary who's considered the best hand-to-hand fighter. Well, that is unless you also count Lady Shiva, who is also considered the best of the best. It is those two going to go hand to hand. No powers involved. Anything to prove who is the best. But there's some backstory too about Black Canary, her mother, who also used to be Black Canary, and a twist at the end that's going to set this fight into a different direction. So fantastic. If you know Tom King's, it's a very mature storytelling way of doing it, and just spotlighting one of the best DC characters, Black Canary, with issue number 1.
Well, next we have Hyde Street #2, and this issue focuses all on Pranky, who we met him in the first issue, and we learned what his life was like back when he was a regular kid. That part of the story takes place back in 1955, and he had a pretty crummy life. His dad was abusive, his teachers were mean, his fellow scouts and his scoutmaster in the Boy Scouts, they were really mean to him too, but he does get revenge on them. And then, of course, we see him now that he is whatever he is on Hyde Street. He mouths off to a police officer that doesn't appreciate his comments, and then it just escalates very quickly after that. That's all I'm going to say. But this is so cool. The art's great. It's cool to have an ongoing horror story that looks this good.
Next up, another from Ghost Machine. This is Hornsby and Halo #1. This is our new one from Pete Tomasi with Peter Schneesberg. And this is really cool. This is mostly a setup issue where you learn about this war between heaven and hell. And to create a truce, they each give up kind of their heir to the throne and send them to Earth in the evil family takes the angel kid, and the really nice family takes the devil girl. And as they grow up, there's people watching out for them. But on their birthday, which they both have the same birthday, some powers are going to be awoken, and that's going to kind of send us into the future of this series. But a great first issue, another great book from Ghost Machine with Hornsby and Halo.
Last for me is Iron Man #2. And in this one, Tony Stark tries to convince the board of Stark Industries not to sell the company to Roxxon and AIM, but he doesn't have a whole lot of luck convincing them. So he sabotages part of Roxxon's oil pipeline. And then there's a trippy sequence where this other character that we find out who betrayed him, who created the mystical virus that took over his armors. And then we see that person kind of mess with his mind a little bit. And it's pretty surprising who it is, too. We haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, just another cool issue of Iron Man. And we do see him in his new kind of steampunky medieval looking armor. And we do see the big sword as well.
Yes. And next up, I've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number, was this 4? 4. This is the spotlight on Donatello issue, which kind of picks up from the previous story beats of, which book was it?
It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha.
Alpha, which we saw Donatello in this kind of like mutant zoo where people would come and pay money to hunt these mutants and fight them. And it's been up to Donatello to kind of step in and take the biggest hits to keep the other ones safe. And he's been through a lot. He's pretty broken. His mind is gone and everything. But of course, he's a Ninja Turtle, and he's gonna find his way back to his brothers and everything. This is a great issue, one of the best ones so far. You don't want to miss it. Now that it seems like pretty much the whole team is going to be together after this. So issue number 4 of Ninja Turtles. And that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Thank you so much for watching. Head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can place these pre-orders. Not pre-orders, they're orders.
Yeah.
They're out right now.
Or they will be out on Wednesday.
Be on Wednesday, yeah. But they're available to order now, and you'll be getting them when they release, so you don't miss out on any of these great books, because there are some huge ones this week. Stay tuned for our longer show coming up where we'll be going over these, their variants, and so much more, because there's a lot to say about these books.
Oh, yeah.
But until then, see ya.
See ya.